Welcome back to the Reading and Writing Podcast. I'm joined on the podcast today by Yessoh GD, author of the new novel, Tale Book One Knowledge. Kirkus Reviews wrote about the novel, a gripping and swiftly paced mystical tale primed for a sequel. Yessoh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, if someone listening hasn't yet heard about your new novel, Tale Book One Knowledge, how would you describe the novel?
Follow the journeys of two young men whose lives are forever changed when they are thrown into the mystical side of the African continent. A mystical world that will challenge and question everything they know about the world. So they love to work with the weak and sometimes with the help of others to be able to achieve their goal. Daniel speaks of the world. He speaks of the thought process, the philosophy, and he explores the side of the African continent that's barely approachable, questionable, or maybe far from mortal grasp. It is an introduction to the fantastical yet broad and varied culture of the African continent.
Well, I'm curious, do you remember the original idea or impetus that led you to writing Tale Book One Knowledge?
Yes. I remember when I was in Morocco, because I went there to study telecommunication. So I was there for about a year. And the idea came for me to write the story about an African culture. I've always been drawn to African story and African culture, but I didn't have the chance to focus on it. So when the idea came and I moved to India to continue my studies, I thought that would be the perfect time to start writing. So it is based on my observation of the world and the many subjects developed through it that I wanted to explore. So it was just an occasion for me to dive into the African narrative country.
Well, I'm curious, what was your writing journey that led you to writing and getting this novel published? Had you written fiction or novels before?
No, I have not. But I've always wanted to write something about Africa. I used to have a lot of, we call it daydreaming, because I used to have a lot of ideas floating in my head about some characters grounded and based in Africa, but I never had the chance to sit properly and start writing. So when I had the chance, I just jumped on it. And with the research that I did on the African culture and the different people living on the continent, it was an occasion, or I'll say a joy for me to be able to use that and write about Africa.
That's great. Well, I know that you've worked as a visual effects artist for TV shows and commercials. Do you think your work as an artist impacted your prose and fiction writing?
I don't know how much my working in the film industry has impacted my my writing side. I know it has influenced me, but I don't know to which extent it did. But I know I am the product of all my experiences. So the movie industry in general definitely had some impact on me and probably my writing.
Sure.
I'll say working in the film industry has impacted for certain artistic side. And this is one of the tools I use when building stories. It was that tool that helped me give notes as an artistic note, the technical notes to the artist when came the time
Sure. I'm curious, when you're working, do you ever draw um, your characters or any of your scenes or settings?
No, not really. But what really happened is when I start thinking about the story, and for me to be able to start writing and put it on paper, I need to make sure, or I'll say it's not even possible for me to write it if I can't see it clearly. And most of the time when I start thinking about it, I have to paint everything around me from the grass, the character, and the people on his nose, everything before I start putting on paper. And that's where this character is on the book come from. When I start thinking about it, it pictures of maybe a character or a scenery just flashes and stop. And when it stops, I just keep it in mind so that I can direct the artist for exactly what needs to be drawn on.
Got it. I'm curious, are you working on another novel now?
I am. I have received so many emails from the readers for uh, the next story about Tale that I thought it was better for me to start the second book of Tale book one knowledge. Yes, I've started the story, but I don't know exactly when I'll be able to finish. I want to make sure that it is as defined and complete as possible, like the first.
Sure. Well, I'm curious, what was your writing process when you were working on Tale Book One Knowledge? Are you someone who does extensive outlining and know where the story is going, or did you just kind of dive into the story and see where it took you?
No, I am the kind of writer that think about the whole story first. I'm not sure. I don't know how many writers do that, but for my process, it is different for me to know exactly where the story is going.
Mhm.
As I said earlier, I take my time to vision exactly where the character will be, what will be happening, what he will be saying, how he will be moving. So I make sure that every plot of that section is set before I start writing. I will not know exactly complete ends, but I will know the broad stroke. And then when I start writing, I can refine based on the way the writing process is going.
And now, a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive.
Well, today you can expect lots of cloud cover with 0% chance of raining on your parade because you'll be riding your motorcycle vroom vroom. That rumbling low-pressure system beneath you should give way to a relaxing commute and the sudden urge to take the scenic route everywhere you go because, dagnabbit, you're having fun out there. That's your forecast. Back to you.
This has been a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive, where every day's a beautiful day to ride with coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Get a quote today and see what you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where the sky's the limit thanks to better internet. With lightning fast speeds up to 1 gig, you can game like a boss, stream like a pro, and watch like there's no tomorrow. Stream, watch, post, send, and trend. Do it all with our fiber-powered network, bringing you reliable, fast internet. Welcome to BreezeLine. Visit breezeline.com for latest offers. Service subject to availability. New customers in select areas only. Visit breezeline.com for details.
So, how does it feel when you play Roll Up to Win with Tim Hortons? Buy a hot or cold beverage using the Tim's app and find out. Roll in the app for a chance to win prizes ranging from free coffee and donuts to a Universal Orlando resort vacation or a sweet car. Oh, don't forget the TV. And this year, every roll is a shot at a $1,000 daily giveaway drawing for 2 $500 prizes. Roll up to win and get treated by Tim's. No purchase necessary. Account registration required. 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 plus entered by 4/2/23. See rules at rolluptowin.com for free entry or full details. Void in Florida and where prohibited.
Gotcha. Well, I know that a lot of fantasy fiction in the United States and the UK have traditionally been novels set in European or medieval settings. I'm curious, what was your experience of writing a fantasy novel centered on an African perspective?
You mean as a black writer? What
Sure.
was my experience?
Yeah. Yep.
As a Black writer, I wouldn't be able to say because I'm very, very new into the writing world. So
Mm-hmm.
I am sure there are elements that I have experienced that I didn't notice, that a seasoned Black writer will have noticed, automatically.
Right.
But as a writer in general, yes, there were many challenges. And I think one of the challenges was to be able to reach a wider audience. But I am very grateful because it is happening now a lot more. Well, it was happening before when the people were reading and enjoying the book and sharing with the fellow readers. But now that the book have received multiple awards, it is starting to get a lot more traction. And I'm just grateful for what's happening right now. I'm focusing on making sure that it continues and that I can deliver a second book in the same kind of feel.
That's great. Well, I'm curious, what writing advice would you offer for those who are working on their own stories or novels, or even more specifically, if someone's listening who is thinking about, writing a novel centered on an African experience? I'm just curious if there are any, thoughts or advice that you would offer someone.
My process is a bit different, but I will say in general, for what worked for me, just take your time. I started the story in 2009. I started writing in 2007. It took me time because I have to make sure that everything is as correct as I want it to be. So say, take your time. Take your time to build the story. Take your time to build the character because they are the one who drive the story. And once you know that you have everything set up, just start writing. There's no point on rushing unless there is a specific goal that you need to achieve while writing the book. So what I wanted to do was to make sure that the book was as good as it can possibly be. So I just took my time. And to be honest, I didn't have all the time of the world, if I can say it like that, because at the same time I'm working as a visual effect. So I was balancing between two worlds which were colliding at some point. But yeah, I'll say take your time while you are writing your book. Take also the time to make research about when you will finish the book, what will be the next step for you? Who do you have to contact for publicity, or do you have to contact for review? What should you do when the book is finished? All these steps needs to be either on paper or set in your mind for you to know exactly what you need to do for your writing.
That's great. Well, what novels have you read recently that you enjoyed?
Recently, I've been focused mainly on African scholars, and probably most of them are French, and one of them is Théophile Obenga. But before that, there was this book from an African author, Children of Blood and Bone, an incredible book that I've read that long ago. So for me, it was a great book. But I tend to lean towards the paper from African scholar most of the time.
Sure.
But when I want to read a fantastical book, there is a for incredible Western book that I have read when I was in India or in Ivory Coast. But yes, that's the way it goes usually. It's just that now it's mostly African scholars for me.
Sure. Well, I'm curious. I mean, it doesn't have to it doesn't relate directly to your writing, but I know just from, following the industry that visual effects can be a tough industry to break into. Do you mind telling us, a little bit about your path as a visual effects artist? And you've worked on TV shows that appeared on Netflix and Apple TV and other prominent places. I'm just curious, what was your path from the Ivory Coast to working in digital visual effects?
Sure. As I told before, I have always been a film buff. I love movies. So from Ivory Coast, always wanted to whatever is technical as a visual effects or something technical in the movie industry. And I've only had that chance when I came to India, because in Morocco, in Africa, I was studying telecommunication. So when I went to India, there was a chance for me to start learning about CGI, which is computer generated imagery. So I took that class, and then later on, I think 2 to 3 years after, I came to Canada when I did 1 year of studying the film and visual effects, and then I started working. It was just I would say a very good occasion for me to be able to work on big shows and experience that with the fellow artists. And I am very glad and grateful that I have had the chance to do that.
That's great. Well, where can people find you online if they want to learn more about you and your novel?
There is a website, the Tane series. It's called if they can write virtualseries.com, and it will bring them to the website, and they can connect with me also on Instagram, Yessoh, and on Twitter as well, Yessoh.
That's great. And I'll have a link to those in the show notes as well if someone wants to check you out online. Well, again, we've been speaking with Yessoh GD, author of the new novel Tale, Book 1, Knowledge. The novel is available now, so go buy a copy. And Yessoh, thanks for doing this interview.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where the sky's the limit thanks to better internet. With lightning-fast speeds up to 1 gig, you can game like a boss, stream like a pro, and watch like there's no tomorrow. Stream, watch, post, send, and trend. Do it all with our fiber-powered network, bringing you reliable, fast internet. Welcome to BreezeLine. Visit breezeline.com for latest offers. Service subject to availability. New customers in select areas only. Visit breezeline.com for details.
So, how does it feel when you play Roll Up to Win with Tim Hortons? Buy a hot or cold beverage using the Tim's app and find out. Roll in the app for a chance to win prizes ranging from free coffee and donuts to a Universal Orlando resort vacation or a sweet car. Oh, don't forget the TV. And this year, every roll is a shot at a $1,000 daily giveaway drawing for 2 $500 prizes. Roll up to win and get treated by Tim's. No purchase necessary. Account registration required. 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 plus entered by 4/2/23. See rules at rolluptowin.com for free entry or full details. Void in Florida and where prohibited.